Yes, sir.
I think we'd all agree that legitimate national security and defense is a legitimate concern to conservatives. But I never cease to be amazed at how our foreign adventures and wasting of resources, and you mentioned the state killing people, fighting two or three wars at a time for no apparent legitimate national security reasons. How are people able, how do you explain the ability of influential people, and referring primarily, I guess, to talk radio, to sell the wasting of our assets on such ventures? I mean, how do you explain their ability to do that? Because I think the common audience and the average member of the public who is conservative doesn't seem to think about it when they accept it. How do you explain the fact
Well,
that they do?
it's a terrible thing. It's I think, I guess at bottom I would put it down to the tragic and enduring appeal of nationalism to people. That they think that we're number one, USA number one, and really I would say the average listener to talk radio thinks of Americans as being pretty much the only humans, and nobody else is a human. They're all a gook. And so there are 1 million dead people in Iraq as a result of George Bush's murder expeditions, continued by Barack Obama, and nobody even knows, nobody cares. Anybody cares about, how many American soldiers were killed going over there invading their country. We have I must say, a spectacular war memorial in Washington, the Wall, with the names of 55 or 60,000 American troops who were killed in the invasion and of that country. But Martin van Crauwel, the great military historian at Hebrew University, has estimated that 4 to 6 million Vietnamese and other Southeast Asian civilians were killed in that war. No American knows, no American cares, and those names are not on a wall in Washington. And it's because, I think it's nationalism. I mean, it's the feeling that Americans are superior, and of course other countries, there's been German nationalism, Russia, I mean, there are all, many different kinds of nationalism. Right now, and I must say I'm most concerned with American nationalism, and it does seem to give a pass to the government to bomb anybody they want, because how dare they diss us? We're supposed to rule the world. The dollar is supposed to be the world currency. We're supposed to be able to block other people's trade, but don't they dare block our trade, and then, right down the list. Nationalism, of course, an important aspect of fascism, which was the winning ideology of the 20th century, not communism, but fascism won. And the government-business partnership against the rest of us, big business, big government, and warfare and militarism and the national security state and we're number one. Chest-beating business, I mean, the waving the flag, and I'm sick and tired, I must say, of the U.S. flag, which was originally, of course, if I can get off, I don't lose everybody in the audience, but this is originally, of course, and legally still is the military banner of the U.S. government. And in more constitutional days, it flew only over U.S. military posts. In the Civil War, Lincoln made great use of bunting and the flags, and with each war, we've seen an increasing flagomania, as I've called it, where it's today illegal to touch the flag to the ground. It's illegal to fly the flag at night without a light on it. It's illegal to dispose of the flag except by folding it in a certain way and burning it or burying it. And of course, they want to make it illegal to burn the flag otherwise if your attitude's wrong. But so we see, and I noticed first with Bush and Cheney and now continuing in this administration, what's with the masked flags that appear behind any U.S. politician? I mean, it looks like Mussolini to me. I mean, what is that? I mean, it used to be one was sufficient. That was bad enough. But now I notice Obama's backed by 9. It's like the lictors of the Roman, the Roman consul or something. It's a very, very alarming business. So again, this is all nationalism. Or we remember, you guys don't remember, but after 9/11, you were sort of questioned if you didn't have a flag magnet on your car. And a lot of people had 2 flags flying from the mirrors. And that proved that you were a good guy and you weren't a terrorist because you were flying the flag, and go kill them. Of course, no evidence that anybody in Iraq, and of course nobody had ever done anything to us. Nobody in, even in Afghanistan, those 19 guys were trained in Florida and in New Jersey. So I guess a good thing they didn't bomb those places. But again, the U.S. just thinks, because of nationalism, thinks we are the superior group. Everybody else is an underperson. And so I think I would put this war business, which destroyed, or at least stopped the advance of classical liberalism in the 19th century too, war. And the feeling that our side's right, we can kill everybody on the other side. And then of course leading to the wars of the 20th century is the most horrific wars in the history of the human race. And with the erasure of the difference between soldiers and civilians, so that it's perfectly legitimate to just bomb cities full of unresisting old people and children and women, as in the case in Germany and in Japan. What they were they both had the wrong citizenship, kill them all. So this is not. I find myself, as I get older, tending more towards almost pacifism. But certainly, if one is going to have a war and have a just war, then, as St. Augustine wrote so many centuries ago, you can't deliberately target non-combatants. This is just murder. So the U.S. government is in effect a murder machine. Maybe all governments are murder machines. The British government in its imperial days, certainly the German government, obviously the Soviet governments. So there have been many murder machines in the history of the human race. But I think the feeling, and this was true of the Romans, the feeling that they were blessed by the gods to be the rulers of the known world. Americans today feel that, too many of them, that that America is the new Zion. There have been these unfortunate tendencies since the Pilgrims, that we're the new Zion. Anybody standing against us, whether it's the Indians then or Muslims today, just kill them all. They can just be killed because we're the chosen of God. We can just kill anybody that stands against us. That's very, very unfortunate, and I don't exactly know what's to be done about it, except kinds of things that Bumper Hornberger keeps doing and teaching the truth and trying to explain to people why these kinds of wars are bad morally, why they're bad from a utilitarian standpoint, why they increase the power of the state so dramatically. War, of course, has been the great friend of state power, and it shuts everybody up, and it makes dissent a crime, and it makes loving the government and doing exactly what the government wants you to do a virtue. So in other words, it turns things on its head. So all we can keep doing is telling the truth, saying that war is, I'll just finish up by quoting Joe Sobran. You mentioned conservatives. The conservatives, he said, are opposed to big government unless it's killing people. So that's the people that listen to, Limbaugh and Hannity, I'm afraid.